What is up, guys? It's your boy Andy Arts. Welcome to Andy Arts Studio, my YouTube channel where I do tutorials, I teach anatomy, draw anime, fan art, all that good stuff. Yeah, and here I have my little trusty um, drawing pad, and today we are gonna draw a female torso. Now I've done a couple of these videos drawing the female body. Well, the problem with the female body is that it's so complicated. It is so complex. As a matter of fact, it is. I find it much harder to draw a a female body than a man's body. Because a man's body at least is it's kind of blocky. Men are kind of have like a blocky body. Drum muscles is pretty easy, but once you get to the female body, it curves. It curves so much that you get lost in the curves. You get lost in the female curves, pun intended, I guess. Whatever sexual innuendo you want to say about that. But yeah, man. So let's go ahead and get started. And like always, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the head. Okay, we're gonna be drawing a circle, cut it in half, do all that nice stuff. So a lot of artists like to start with just like a line, kind of like this figure drawing line where like the body is supposed to curve and twist. But I feel as though if you don't have the head, the position of the head correctly, then the rest of the body is probably not gonna it's not gonna be well put together. You know what I mean? So it's good to have the head first, and then once you get the head, then you take it from there. So so yeah, we're gonna start drawing the head, and we're gonna draw a kind of like a cutesy but simple pose for this girl. Simple but cutesy pose. Excuse me. A simple but cutesy pose. So here I am. We're starting with we're adding the ears. Right. Let's go ahead and add the neck into the body. Right. Because what is a head without a neck? Can you imagine? Can you imagine your head with no neck? It's like your head would just be attached to like your collarbone. It would look weird. Anyway, so the next thing we're gonna do the rib cage. Now you have to be mindful of the position of the rib cage because that's gonna determine like kind of like how everything else is in the body, the rest of the position of the body. So two things that kind of make the direction and position of the body is the rib cage, is the head, the rib cage, and the pelvis. So which is that's three things. That's three things actually. Sorry. Yeah. So those two things: the head, the rib cage, and the body. Those are like the main like biggest skeletal part of our bodies. And depending on how you draw them, that will determine the like the whole pose of the character. You know, usually. So here, so the rib cage is shaped like an egg. It's really shaped like an just a straight up egg. So what you do, you cut it in half, and then the opening, right? So you also have to keep in mind that the length of the rib cage is about one and a half heads. So take the head of your main character, right, and then take one and a half of that measurement of like the height, and that's how long the rib cage should be. And like midway, you should have like, the line, the line where like the what do you call it? Where the cavity would start, right? And then, but once you have the rib cage and the position of the rib cage, right? So in this case, it's kind of like it's leaning towards the right side. Well, my right side, and I'm assuming your right side as well, right? So it's leaning towards that right side and as you can see here, I am adding along with the rib cage. I'm adding every the other parts of the body, the tummy, like the little stomach area, the love handles. And what I'm doing here at the bottom is I'm kind of like drawing out the line of the pelvic area, like I guess like the bikini line you would call it. And I'm shaping out the shape of the pelvic area. The pelvic area used to be a difficult thing to draw, but now the more you do it, the more you get used to it. Really, it's shaped like a heart. It really shaped like a heart, not completely, but it's the shape. The shape is very similar to a heart. Once you get the pelvic bone structure in the body, then it's easier to draw like the buttocks, the legs, and the direction of pretty much everything else, guys. In the lower body, of course, and of course we got those the shoulder muscles and the arm muscles, right? So it's you got to remember that it's attached to the end, it kind of like the end of the collarbone, and as well as the what you call it, the scapula. Called the scapula. You know that bone that's holding up your arms together in the back of your rib cage, right? So again, I'm drawing like a cutesy little pose here, where like she's kind of like bringing her arms towards her, you know, I guess kind of like towards her neck, you could say, right? So I guess you could call this like maybe kawaii style, I guess, some people would call it, right? And then like her left arm, which is my right arm. So my right arm, her left arm. It's going up towards her face, and I got this post from a ballerina, or from another model actually. So the model that I used kind of had this pose, right? And get understand the breast of the female of the female body, it falls from the like from the muscles of the chest, like it's starting from like the collarbone and down. But it really is attached to like your, what do you call it, like almost like to the top of the bicep muscle, right? Like the what do you call it, the tricep, right? Once you learn the body parts, it's kind of easy to attach these muscles, right? Okay, so the name of the muscle is the deltoid. So the deltoid is like attached to the end of the collarbone, and the scapula. That's basically kind of like what holds your arm up. And from the deltoid, the muscles for that carry the breast are attached to that, if that makes sense, right? And we're drawing her right arm, which is my left arm, or your left arm. Your left arm, her right arm. It's kind of confusing, isn't it? But yeah, so let's go ahead and continue. Let's draw. See the hands. This is my least favorite part of drawing. My least favorite part of drawing is the hands. The problem with the hands is like there's so many shapes in one hand. Like so many cylinders, and like especially when the hand when it's bent, right? Because the head is like a circle with a triangle, right? And then the rib cage is like an egg shape, oval, right? Almost like an oval, right? The breasts are just two half spheres, and then the deltoid is easy to draw them. The arms are basically cylinders, and then the pelvic area can be a bit difficult. But then the fingers, you have all these shapes in one hand. So many cylinders, and then to get the structure of the bones right within the hand is it can be complicated depending on your art style. If you're going for a more realistic art style, then yes, it's definitely difficult. Now, of course, I always tell people to always draw from life, like draw actual anatomy, get to know the human body, and yeah, you got to understand the human body before you can go and do your own art style, which is something that you find out along the way. But anyways, yeah, so we're doing the hands here. I'm doing the fingers. See, and her fingers are very small. Like women tend to have like smaller hands. Like men, because you know how men they do like a lot of physical labor. Our hands tend to get bulky. We kind of have like muscles on our fingers, for lack of a better word. Our hands get bulky, right? But a girl's hands is a bit thinner, a bit skinnier, more gentle, very pretty, you know. And here I'm drawing like the muscles of the inner hand, right? Like the muscles are below the thumb, and basically the inner hand. I think I'm gonna do a separate video on hands, although, well, I mean maybe later on when I get a little better, because the hands are still difficult to draw for me. Although I do think I did a pretty good job here drawing the hands, right? I do think I did a pretty good job here. All right, and then let's finish up the other leg. Now the other leg is kind of, is on the obviously on the other side of her body, so it's gonna look a little different. So we gotta keep mindful of the shape of the cylinders of her body and how they how they are attached to the, to the pelvic area, and how they come out of the body. Right. So here we have. Now we're drawing her crotch area. Um, right. So I think this is looking pretty good. Right. This is actually looking pretty good. I'm actually proud of this, guys. I'm actually proud of this. You know. Right. And now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna shape out the ears. All right, so I'm gonna speed up the video. So what we're gonna do next is we're just going to finalize, like basically erase all the guidelines, so all the shapes and guidelines that we did here, and just clean it up, right? So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I actually want to do one more pose for this video. And it's gonna be this basically, the girl facing the other way, right? So in the previous one, she was facing towards the right, our right, and this one she's gonna be facing towards our left, right? And in case you guys haven't noticed, I use two types of pencils. Like I only use mechanical pencils. I don't know. I don't use the wooden pencils for some reason. I always feel more comfortable with the mechanical ones. So I use two kinds of pencils. The mechanical pencils I use is 0.7, which is the size of the lead. So this one, oh, why is it so blurry? Why is the video so blurry? Anyways, so the 0.7 lead is tends to be more thicker, and I use this for sketching, right? And then the zero point 0.5 lead, I use it for just to put in the details and to, well, after once I start cleaning up, I use the zero point 0.7 lead size to to thin everything out, give everything more detail, clean it up, make it look more thin, more much nicer. And yeah, so basically we're following the same formula here. You start out with the head, and then we go ahead and draw the X shape for the rib cage. And I'm trying to get this shape correctly here because it tends to be a little complicated, right? Um, yeah, there we go. I don't know why my camera is like getting out of focus here. Sorry about the quality, guys. I'm trying to fix this problem. All right, so here we go. So here we're drawing the collarbone, and yeah, so we're drawing the collarbone, and then we're dividing the X-shaped rib cage, right? We're gonna be dividing that, and we're creating that cavity, where all the organs are in. I am so detailed about this. uh, okay, so right, and you might be wondering, oh, does the body really curve like that, like on the back of the rib cage? And the thing is that maybe I'm not showing it well in this video with this drawing, but your the way that your muscles work when they are attached to the rib cage, Um, they you have muscles attached to the back of your rib cage, and especially for the female body, because the female rib cage is actually 10% smaller than the males. Like is some sometimes it's noticeable to see those curves, right? It creates those curves around her body, right? And here we're drawing the deltoid muscle. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. Why is it so blurry? Right, and now remember the breast, the muscles that carry the breast are attached to the deltoid on the side. So it's like the collarbone and the deltoid are like working together. You gotta everything. The body's like a puzzle piece. You just have to make sure that everything is put together. Here we go. Drawing that body. Drawing that body. Right. Oh, the quality of the camera is bad. I'm sorry, guys. It comes in and out, in and out. I hope you guys can see it pretty well. All right, so we got the pretty much almost done with the rib cage. Now I'm just kind of drawing out the arms, getting in those details, right? And so this is actually looking pretty good. I think I think the cavity of the rib cage, like the opening, it should have gone a little lower because of where the breasts are located. But that's fine. I can fix it up later. Um, all right. So what I'm gonna do now, since this is almost done, I'm just gonna go ahead and speed up the video so that we can go ahead and clean it up. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I think these two ladies are looking pretty nice. Everybody, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I hope that these tutorials are helpful. If you like these tutorials, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell for future notifications. It is Andy Arts. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Peace out.